And good evening, everyone. Voters in New York could have to go to the polls twice to vote in all of this year's primaries.
News 4's Tara Lynch breaks down the latest unusual ruling on redistricting from the state's highest court. Tara?
Don and Jackie, the primary elections were scheduled for June 28th, but after today's ruling, not only will New Yorkers have to vote in two primaries, but they also may not know what district they're voting in yet.
This entire redistricting process has been, to put it politely, a mess.
I'm surprised that this came down the way it did.
The 4-3 decision from the state's highest court says the congressional and state Senate districts are unconstitutional, accusing the Democrats of political gerrymandering. Now, a court-appointed redistricting expert will create the maps.
I don't know what that means, and I could see if that's not defined specifically and in detail, I could see that presenting lawsuits.
Because of the latest census, New York is set to lose a congressional seat. The Independent Redistricting Commission did not come up with a proposed map, so the process was moved to the Democratic-controlled legislature. Governor Hochul approved the Democrats' map, which added Democratic-leaning seats.
This opinion is a big blow to Democrats, not just in New York, but nationally, because we're going to get a map that is probably pretty close to what we have now, minus the one seat that New York lost.
The New York State primaries are scheduled for the end of June, and the court opinion says at least the congressional and state Senate primaries will need to be moved. This could mean multiple primary days for New York voters.
Primaries with regard to those two offices would most practically be pushed off until later in the summer, early fall. It's going to mean a lot of work for the boards of elections, and it will be a bit confusing with the voters.
After a year filled with scandal, it remains to be seen how this latest battle will affect voters.
I always wonder just what the tipping point is for the public when it comes to its frustration with some of the aspects of the way Albany works.
Some Democratic leaders from across the country are keeping a close eye on this redistricting process here in New York and in a handful of other states going through a similar battle. They are hoping to keep the majority in the House of Representatives during the midterms this year. For now in the newsroom, Tara Lynch, News 4.